Some people call it paying it forward or paying it back.
And for others, it could just be a simple case of there, but for the grace of God go I.
However you want to think about it, we celebrate the people and the organizations that help others today on Su Vida.
Su Vida.
It's a typical August day here in Phoenix.
The temperatures are well over 100 degrees. It's monsoon season. It's sticky, humid, and just hot.
Now imagine you have no place to go, you're homeless, or worse, your family has no place to call home.
On today's show, we're celebrating the power of one.
Because just one person or one organization can make a huge difference. An organization like Central Arizona Shelter Services.
Let's take a look.
CAS is an emergency homeless shelter that takes 470 men, women, children off the street every night.
CAS is a resource for people that find themselves in hard times or different life situations, domestic violence, loss of jobs, loss of relationships or breakups. Everybody has their own story.
CAS helps individuals by giving them a place to sleep, to shower. It gives them an opportunity to work with a case manager who will help remove the barriers that are preventing that individual from finding permanent housing.
This is just a place where people can come and regroup and recover and stop from going deeper in the hole or from being out on the streets and having things get worse.
When new clients come to CAS, they meet with a case manager who will do an assessment to determine why that client is currently homeless. And from there, they look at what the different barriers are that are preventing that individual from finding a permanent home. And one by one, they go through those barriers, providing services in-house or referring to other agencies or individuals experiencing homelessness.
It's very heartwarming to be able to see people kind of move from a position really at the bottom level of where their lives are, in that sense of being homeless and not having just the basics, to being able to get into transitional housing and then into more permanent housing as well. There really is a great sense of gratification to see the patrons here at CAS be able to get back on their feet and get back into a more normal life.
For our shelter to be successful in helping end homelessness, we need the community to engage. We need to partner with other individuals and organizations to help fund the mission of CAS to end the homelessness of individuals who are currently living on the street.
Donations to CAS are, I think, very, very important. Being on the streets and living in a car, I don't know that I could survive a summer here. I really don't know where I would be without the resources that I found here.
The reality is CAS has been open 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. They don't take a break from serving the homeless. They don't take a break from providing shelter and providing food and providing a warm atmosphere and social services for the people here. There really is not a more immediate gratification when it comes to giving than for what CAS is doing in this community.
And when I'm not in this situation, I hope to be part of the person that gives back or pays it forward.
On any given night in Arizona, 22,000 people will experience homelessness.
It's a big problem, but helping people keeps the CAS staff and volunteers motivated.
We'll be more inspiring people when we come back, and what can be more inspiring than teachers? Stay tuned, we'll be right back after this.
For more great videos highlighting all that's happening across Arizona, visit cox7.com.
Su Vida is brought to you in part by Chicanos por la Causa.
Welcome back to Su Vida. Today we're at a facility run by Central Arizona Shelter Services, or CAS, that's set up for families.
Yeah, approximately half of the homeless population is comprised of families with children.
And right now we're at the child development area where a kid can just be a kid. And this is a great place for the parents because they can go look for work knowing that their child is in a safe place.
A child will always remember a kind and caring adult, and CAS has lots of them. Just like you'll always remember a great teacher. And each year, Chicanos por la Casa recognizes some of the best.
I'm from San Luis, Rio Colorado, in Sonora, Mexico. My father, he wanted us to have a better life, and I guess he had that idea that here we had more opportunity. When I was in school, no algebra was taught in our classes. I was kind of sad to see that. I didn't have the English skills to kind of tell them that I wanted more. After a few months, and when I started speaking English, I told the teachers, and they let me, I guess, explain some of the algebra to my peers, and they were excited that they were getting something new.
I work with Jesus Arrizon, and we work together in identifying students who are talented. Once we have those kids identified, we place them in the ACT classes and in the high school algebra courses. We give those kids the opportunity to take the placement test at our community college, at Arizona Western College, so that they can take upper level algebra classes, but also that they are preparing themselves to tackle the test when they are in the 11th or 12th grade, as they are preparing to go to the universities. Mr. Arrizon is a very dedicated individual. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, a lot of persistence. It takes people like Jesus to be able to move things forward.
I think we should emphasize how effective he is with the sixth graders and getting them interested in math, and then continuing that through their 7th and 8th grade, as actually going on into the high school and also our college level.
I have so many gratifying moments, but one of the ones that I just received as a teacher was we had Johns Hopkins University, the program, citywide program, Center for Talented Youth. They came here to San Luis, Arizona from Baltimore just to give us an award, because they say that we're the best school in the country, sending students to the summer school program. We had 300 students sitting there waiting for an award. When they got to me, they did a standing ovation and yell and scream, and I mean that made me feel, that got me to my feelings, and it was amazing. One of those things that you never forget.
The 2016 Esperanza Awards are coming up on October 20th. You should make plans to attend. It's a very inspiring evening.
You can get all the details at cplc.org/events.
Today we're talking about the power of one person to change the world.
But what happens when a team of like-minded individuals focus on creating the next big gotta have it tech gadget?
Well, I don't know, but I'm about to find out.
The idea started a few years ago. I was an IT guy in Michigan when I went and visited a buddy who used to work in a design studio. And what really struck me is that whenever he would draw something, he would draw it first on paper, and then he would draw it on the computer next. And this kind of always irked me, I guess you could say, a little bit. And I asked him one day, I'm like, hey, why is it you're never drawing on the computer? And he said, well, it's too cumbersome. You can't really actually see what you're drawing. And it really kind of set off a light bulb in my head, and it made me think, you know what? There has to be some kind of touchscreen device where you can just interface with right away, and you can just start drawing. And it was about that time that I started having this thought, what would the desktop computer look like if it was reinvented today? We decided right away that it had to have a touchscreen input. So that's where we put in the 24-inch touchscreen. After that, we kind of started innovating some other things. We started thinking about, okay, what else can we do to make the desktop computer better? And the first thing that came to mind was, it needs to be cleaned up. And so we thought, okay, we're going to build the desktop into the desk. So with us, we said, well, if we're building in the computer to the desk, we can make the desktop setup as easy as 3 steps. It comes in its box, you pull it out by its handle, you unfold the legs, and you plug it in. Bam, an entire workspace, all set up, all ready to go, and you can just get started right on your work.
Hi, I'm Cecilia. I am part of the design team for M33 Labs. As part of the design team, I work on any of the graphic design media, and as well as the actual design of the desk. So when we first started working with Brandon and M33 Labs, we noticed that this was a desk made entirely by engineers. And you could tell because they didn't have quite a grasp on what design was. So one of the first things we did is we sat down as the design team and looked at how we can make this desk more comfortable, more human. The reason we always talk about cars when we talk about design is because your car is something you use every day. You're comfortable in it, you drive in it, it's how you get to work. So why can't your workspace be like that? Comfortable, easy to use, but also simple and clean.
We really firmly believe that your best work comes from when you have the best tool. And so we designed a tool that eliminates a lot of that clutter, a lot of that disorganization, and you don't have to spend all that time setting it up. It's the first desktop combination you can pull right out of the box and get on the internet with in maybe a minute.
Those are some smart kids.
They must have some really smart teachers.
No doubt. So make sure you stick around. We'll be back with more Vida right after this.
After this.
Try it. Oh.
At Arizona Living, we're always looking for ways to enhance our lives. You can find more of our great lifestyle tips at cox7.com.
Having fun exploring community, culture, food, Imas with Vida? Head on over to cox7.com for more videos.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Ramirez.
And I'm Erica Cardenas. Now this may look like a normal apartment to you.
And that's what's so great about it, normalcy. Something homeless families don't know much about.
Now here at Vista Colinas, they have 12 one-bedroom apartments and 18 two-bedroom apartments. And families can stay here for up to 4 months.
During that time, they also receive supportive services to help them find permanent housing solutions.
Yeah, another organization that do some great stuff is bloom365.org. They're working to put an end on domestic violence.
Bloom 365 is a program that works to prevent teen dating abuse before it starts. Primarily, we go into schools here across the valley and deliver a comprehensive 7-day program that teaches teens how to recognize the warning signs of an abusive relationship, helps to understand what a healthy relationship looks like and build some skills for it, and then provides the resources for teens who are experiencing dating abuse to get help. And then we follow up with some ongoing mentoring support to teens who are motivated to change the culture around them by establishing Generation Bloom 365 clubs at their schools.
I met Donna Bartow some time ago, and I was overwhelmed by her enthusiasm for and her vision for changing the way we approach domestic violence in this country. As a municipal judge, I saw all of the cases of domestic violence, and what I saw was I was doing way too little, way too late, and I knew and understood that prevention was the key to changing the hearts and minds of a generation of people. She spoke to me of just that she was going into schools and trying to change how we define power, how we define love, how we define relationships, so that no new municipal judge will be too little, too late, that we will change how we conduct our business as teenagers, so as adults, we no longer face this epidemic of domestic violence and community normalized violence throughout the country.
80% of teens tell each other if this is going on in their lives before they come to an adult. So it's very important that we empower them and provide them with the information and also the confidence on how to help a friend who's going through it.
Bloom 365 to me is an opportunity to change the lives of the next generation.
We go in for 7 days and teach teens how to recognize what teen dating abuse is. We come out on the other end with changed attitudes about violence. with new knowledge gained. And when we do that, I think we'll not only see safer relationships and healthier relationships and safer homes, but overall safer communities.
More people doing great things. This is a very inspirational show.
Yeah, now stick around. When we come back, we're going to introduce you to somebody very inspirational and very lucky because she married me.
How'd you get her to say yes?
We'll be right back with more Su Vida right after this. I'd like to her.
Su Vida is brought to you in part by Sanderson Ford.
Welcome back to Su Vida. We are at Vista Colina, which is one of CASA's emergency family shelters. And joining us now is Raymond, and he's going to tell us about his story and how much CAS has really helped him out. Tell me about your situation and how you had to get involved with the CAS program.
When first I lost my job, and I couldn't pay the bills no more. When I first lost my apartment, I was staying in my truck with my kids.
So how did you hear about the CAS program?
I went through the Family Housing Hub, and they told me about the shelter.
And what has the CAS program done for you and your two boys?
They relocated me to here, to Vista Colina, and I started staying over here.
When you're living here, you know, they're taking care of your expenses. What happens with the money that you are making with your job now at Circle K?
I have to save 80% out of every check.
Okay.
So that's what I've been doing since I've been working. I feel like I'm getting back on track. You know, I got a job. I'm getting my new apartment. Next step is to get a car. You know, hopefully from there get a better job. You know, and take it from there.
So you said you have your two boys with you, and so how do you think this situation has helped them? You know, you're an example for them. You continue to work hard, and they see that.
And in a way, it's a good example to show, you know, do what you got to do in school. That way you never end up in this situation. You know, so I try to use it as a life story, you know, like life lesson. And they see the fact that I struggle, I do what I got to do for them. So hopefully they appreciate it, you know, and take care of me when I get old.
Thank you, Raymond, so much for sharing your story with us here today. And, you know, good luck with everything in the future, and go get them.
Everybody has a story, and it's a matter of what you do with it. You can either keep it to yourself, hide it, or share it. Let's introduce you to my wife, Erica Cardenas, as she takes her story to inspire others.
My name is Erica Cardenas. I am an actor, marketing PR consultant, and I am the founder of Inspire Her. Inspire Her is a t-shirt line specifically for girls and women, really of all ages. The shirts consist of inspirational shirts such as Loved, You Are a Masterpiece, Brave, This World Needs You. So they're shirts that I want to remind girls and women that their lives most definitely have purpose and most definitely have value. Inspire Her was rooted in my personal faith. It was a name that just didn't come to me. I mean, I prayed about it a lot, and Inspire Her was from God. He showed me what to name this t-shirt line, and that's where I got Inspire Her. I use Inspire Her to share my personal struggles that I went through as a young teen. You know, around 13, 14 years old, I just became very confused. I became depressed. I really had an issue with my self-identity and who I was. And so I take those pieces of my story, right, because we all have a story to share. So I take those pieces of my story and I share that through Inspire Her. It goes far beyond just a clothing line. You know, I go to schools, I go to different organizations in the community, different nonprofit organizations, churches, and my message to the youth is to just remind them that their lives have such an amazing purpose. And so I use my t-shirts, and at the same time, I share with them my stories to give them hope and to give them encouragement and to remind them to never give up. Each one of us has such an amazing purpose in this lifetime. I always say, if you have a pulse, you have a purpose. So never ever underestimate the power, positivity that you can bring to someone's life. One individual person has such the potential and has such the power to influence change and share the message of hope, share the message of encouragement, and share the message of love. With every shirt that is purchased through Inspire Her, a portion of the proceeds goes back to printing free shirts for girls and women in the community. So when I go and speak to girls at different nonprofits or different organizations or schools or churches, most of the time I take what I call Shirts for Her. It's Shirts for Her project. And I bless those girls or those women with free shirts. You're purchasing a shirt for yourself, but you're giving a gift of hope to someone else. This is a universal message about who you are and who you were created to be. So I would encourage you to walk in your purpose, to never give up, and just remember that your story matters and that you have the absolute capability to touch someone and to move someone in your life. So don't ever underestimate your own value that you hold.
What a great story. I'm really glad Erica decided to share her story to inspire others. And isn't that crazy that Erica and I have been friends before you two met?
You guys are friends?
Kinda, or when you're not around.
Burn. All right, well, that's a very lucky woman.
Yes.
And let's clear something up. That's my real wife. We're married? This is not my wife.
No.
It's a work wife.
We are co-workers, but anyways, we want to give a huge thank you out to Cass and for all their help they're giving the homeless families in the Valley.
Yeah, and speaking of, you can make donations here. They accept donations, all sorts of donations. And you can drop them off, get all the information right here on the website.
Yes, and don't forget to like us on Facebook. Hit that like button along with our own personal pages as well.
Yes, and we'll see you next time right here on
Su Vida.